Nothing has done more to unite the people of the world than this daring venture into the unknown.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to I'm That Game Show. My name's AJ Gills. How y'all doing? I have got something new for you today. This is Weedcraft Inc. I know this is a kind of a weird game that I'm playing here. I usually don't play games like these sort of like tycoon management simulation sort of games, but honestly, I saw this on another Let's Play channel. I saw this on I think it was Christopher Odd's channel, and I'm like, oh my god, this game is. It's got so many little bits and bobs to it, and we'll kind of hit them as we go. I mean, there's stuff that has to do with just the general like public debate about marijuana, you know, the legalization, the medical use, the yada yada yada. I mean, and this isn't necessarily like a pro weed game. It's you have the pro weed, but I think it also does a good job of saying, well, look, maybe it's, you know, is it. How to put this? It's one of those. Is it a do we want people smoking it and like driving? Do we want this? You know, it's like like if you ask me, and my stance on the weed thing is make it legal. There needs to be regulations on it, such as you shouldn't be doing it in driving. You know, it does a good job of kind of giving us like running the spectrum of, you know, the pro position, the anti position, the people in the middle, kind of like myself. Really interesting with stuff like that. There's there's stuff that has to do with creating strains, and there's economics. There's, like I said, creating strains with it, finding out what product to sell best to certain people. There's politics in it, because like literally you I think late into the game you start affecting bills and everything to legalize it differently in certain places. It's a really cool game. I have played, I've probably played like 9-10 hours since this game came out, and I absolutely love it. So we're gonna hop into it. There's 2 scenarios to play through. We're gonna start with growing up, which is the basic scenario, and then we'll do highs and lows after we complete this one. Let's see here. Growing up. Hope you had a good time during your first year of business school, because that's the only one you're getting. Turns out Dad was too proud to admit he was barely making enough money to pay for your tuition. Then he got sick. Now he's gone, along with your MBA dreams. You're right back where you started in Flint, Michigan, living in your father's old house with Clyde, your intense, combative, free-thinking, anti-establishment, slightly paranoid younger brother. So that's the setup, and we'll hop in. I don't know why the opening bit there's no dialogue when this character that we're playing as actually has dialogue. If you see some of the trailers. Yeah, I know it seems like I'm saying a lot of words right now, like I'm trying to sell you guys on this game, but I think on its surface you'd think it's one of those stupid little games that you'd like find on your phone, which there is some of that, which, you know, a lot of the gameplay is kind of sitting and just kind of clicking. But there's something even deeper beyond that in this game. It's one of those, it's super addicting to sit and play. It's really fun. I mean, like I said, I can sit down, start playing this game, and just hours go by. So I really like what the developers did here, and hell, I was also really surprised to see that Devolver Digital was the publisher here. So yes, I am just kind of talking, waiting for the load screen to end. You know, oddly enough, I'm usually not into this kind of music, but I gotta say, it's got a nice beat. It not only fits the game, but it's kind of fun to just kind of sit and nod your head to while you think. I don't know how long videos are going to be for this series, because there's a story, there's like objectives and stuff to complete, but all in all, sometimes you can just sit and just grow and sell, fight your competition in certain markets and whatnot. So it's one of those that some videos are going to be maybe a little short, that are more object focused. Then there's others that might be hour and a half of me just kind of sitting here making money doing whatever. So I have no plan necessarily. This is our character. I believe his name is Johnny. Again, I don't know why there is no dialogue here, like there's no volume. Oh, and if I also didn't mention, the art style, absolutely gorgeous. I love this hand-drawn kind of art style. For some reason, I look at this game, I think the Boondocks. Yet there are, because I kind of see a little bit of their art style in this, but not entirely. Like, I see a combination of a few different art styles. Also, our main character kind of looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Sorry. Welcome home, man. Yeah, there is no voice acting. I wish it was under better circumstances, but there's nothing we can do about Dad being gone. The one silver lining in all of this is we get you out of that mind-bending academy. Masters of Business Administration. Maximum Brainwashing Association. Whatever. Yeah, well, I know you didn't want to drop out of school, but doing is better than learning. What do you mean? I mean, I have a business proposal for you. Let me guess, it involves smoking a bunch of weed? Change the verb and you got it. Let me show you something. Okay, so basically just taking a look at kind of the UI. We got, we have the, we can pause, play at normal speed, accelerate, and, very fast. We have our objective here, homecoming, so that's enter the grow room in your family home. You have entries in your game manual and all this. If you want to, honestly, another thing that I would suggest is why this game is really great. Go on Steam, check out the price tag. It's like I think it's until April 18th. I think it's $15, and I'm using American prices. And after April 18th, it's like $17. It's under $20. It's a cheap game, and it's a lot of fun. So right, there we go. So now you have. Either way, you have all these kind of like grayed out places. They'll open up as we go. There are different locations. So we have here, which is our family home. These are the customers or the social groups that hang out here. So we have vagrants. We'll check that out. I'll go more into that later. So we got vagrants, and that little symbol means they're a medical patient. I think they're cancer patients. Then you have the amount of competition. You can buy a medical license. You can change how you want to sell stuff. Again, we'll get into that later. Police vigilance, and here you have all the different rooms. You have, right now we just have a grow room. Eventually, if we can expand these slots, if we want to grow more product, we can sell, and we can also have a kind of like a front to keep the police from looking into us. Again, a lot of this will be explained more in depth as we go, but I'm just kind of running through some of the basics. Jesus, did Dad know you about your little setup? There's a better alternative than opioids or booze. Or benzos, excuse me. Dad was using opioids? Opioids. That's a hard word for me to say. The doctors prescribed him Percocet and Oxy for the pain, but they screwed up his digestion and his tolerance kept climbing. A few months in, he was a shell of the man he used to be. That's why I started growing. Come on, with your head for commerce and mine for the shady side of the street, we can own this town's weed market. I was about to start a new batch. Let me show you how it works. If we want to keep the lights on here, we're going to need a whole lot of weed. So from moving on in this point, we can. I totally lost my train of thought there for a second. Basically, from where we start, there's. Let's see, can I open that menu? Nope. Okay, perks. There's like RPG level kind of mechanics here, because we get experience in both the decent influence, which is doing things legally, like through a medical license or a recreational license, and a shady influence, which is obviously for you want to go the more illegal route. So you can even choose how you want to kind of run your business. Again, we'll go into more of the stuff in depth later. I just kind of want to give you guys a rundown of what to start looking for. So, all right, to start off, we buy lights and plants. The only lighting we have available right now is the Rusty Lamp for $100. It'll give us 50 grams out of any plant we grow. It'll affect the heat and police vigilance. So, again, simple up front. Just wait till we keep going. So we got the Reggie, which is our only strain. This is basically just regular weed, poor soil. It comes at it takes 3.6 months to grow, or that's how long it'll take to grow our product. We lose 10% quality, but it doesn't affect it doesn't affect vigilance, or there we go. Actually, I forgot that there was a little pop up. So there we go. You select the medium, and then we can grow it. And then just slide through here. I know it only tells me I have to grow 2, but I want to grow more than that. It's here, so you get little videos on how to set up your operations and everything, taking care of the weed. So while you're taking care of it, you have 2 little things to look at. We'll also kind of speed up time. I've heard that sticking on the second one while you're growing is a good idea because you want to water as many times as possible because that increases your quality. And this increases, makes it grow a little faster. It's basically trimming the plant. You see that number popping up right there. We'll get into that in a little later. This game does a great job of kind of dropping mechanics on you. It does it quickly, but it explains them and it does it one at a time. It's really good about that. So this game can get really complicated really fast. It's really neat. I know this is such a weird thing to to fall all over this game for, but I love looking at the plants. Like they're very well designed. How they're kind of in this 3D model while everything else is this kind of like hand-drawn 2D. Oh god, yeah, it does this sometimes where you'll make a click and it'll just kind of freeze up a little bit. Come on, game. There you go. There we go. Alright, well, I've done all the watering I can on these plants. Basically, our quality's really bad right now, but, we're still early on. We'll mess with that stuff later, so we'll just keep snipping. Now we can't cut anymore, so might as well just crank up the speed. Yeah, down here you got the, obviously the month and everything like that. Back to regular time. Basically, you can't do anything when it's paused. Like, if I pause it, I can't, I can't collect I can't harvest. Just like I can't, plant. Well, actually, I can plant. I'll show you in a second. See here, an opportunity for growth. You're an orphan at 24 with half an MBA to your name. As you take stock of your life, you ask yourself whether the light you see is the end of the tunnel or Clyde playing with his phone. But while Clyde's schemes might be illegal, they do make money, and they aren't hurting anybody. So we got $10 for that, and then we have, this is how influence works. Certain missions, if it's a little more on the shady side, it'll give you more shady influence. This one, it gives us a little bit of both. So there we go. So while it's paused, okay, let me get through this then. Alright, the harvest is in. Time to trade this green for some, trade all this green for some green. Alright, let's do it. Okay, let's light this candle. Don't worry, I talked to my homies down at the marketplace. It's safe there, and they'll let you set up without any problems. If we can sell some weed, we'll be on our way to a real business. Alright, so just right now, see, I can't, right here, if I hit play, bam, I can plant. If it's paused, I gotta go here, start growing. I can also save the setup. So all I have to do is just drag and drop to say, yes, I want this stuff to plant. So while that stuff's kind of growing, we'll head out here. Set up for $500. You'll be able to sell weed illegally using a dealer spot or buy a license if the law allows this. So we have a dealer spot now. Is there going to be a pop-up? Ah, there it is. So sell tag. Now we put what we just grew onto the market. And from here we have... give me a second. I don't, me, I don't like having little notification markers. They teach you how to, the basics of selling and everything. So, just kind of running through. These are the different social groups that are hanging out at the market. So you have the vagrants, the regular Joes, and the jocks. You can get information on what these guys like. So like these guys, they want an earthy flavor and a pain relief. Their price threshold is $8. So that means every time you go above $8, they're, see, it's 2.5 is just how they rate this strain, basically. Right here. So it's 2.5 because it's at their price threshold. Now you can go above their price threshold, and you can counteract that with better quality. Again, there's kind of complex it gets a little complex when you look into how the economics of this game works, but it's really fun when you really want to dive into it. So again, you can see their expected quality, how, you know, favorable their tolerances or their acceptances with the product, and then this is all the strains that you own. Not all the strains that there are, it's just the ones that we own. So like with Reggie, then we can see. So now we can look at Reggie itself. You can see how all the customers rate it. So you can look at it different ways that you want. So we got, like I said, we got Vagrants, we got the regular Joes. You know, the Reggie doesn't fit any of this, but if we make it cheap enough, they'll still buy it because it's cheap enough. So that's the basic concept. Same with the Jacks. But their price threshold is way higher, but we'll get into something with them a little bit. Right now, we're kind of selling to the Vagrants and the regular Joes with our product, and now it's just sell what we have. So, like I said, we'll get more into maximizing profits and whatnot later. Right now, we're just kind of working on the objective. But while that's going on, I'm going to come in here, do some watering, do some snipping. You can also keep track. The stock will go down when sales are ready to be made. Sit here, just kind of trim up. This is what I'm talking about. I find this just ungodly relaxing. As you see in it, the stock's going down, so then we have sales. Come out here. So right now, because we're kind of a small operation, we're doing this ourselves. But again, as we advance, we can get employees, so we can have people help us with the growing, people with the selling. The only problem with having people help you with like the growing, the amount of time it takes them to water and trim is way less than it does for us. So sometimes you miss out on watering opportunities. So later in the game, you'll end up maybe losing some quality in your plants. It's a give and take kind of thing. Bam. We sold everything. What started as a desperate dream has transformed into something far bigger, not unlike Clyde, who started to grow up in his own way. So we got $250 for that, and more influence. And a new strain. So this is Sativa Super Lemon Haze. It's citrusy, increases arousal, has happiness, and antidepressant. I love the antidepressant. It's just like a dried up smiling sun. Nice work. We're doing good, but I don't want to settle for good. Meet Bumps. He's been selling weed here longer than anyone can remember. He can help us get to the next level. What's good, my guys? Your product is decent, but you gotta get it. You gotta get it to the right people. I can teach you to understand your customers. Wait, aren't we competition? Why would you help us? Aren't we the competition? Nah, not anymore. Everything's going legal soon, and once it does, poof, the bottom's going to drop out of the racket. Bye-bye dealers, hello MBAs. No offense. What's in it for you? Back in my day, no one tried to run production and distribution together like you guys. If I was younger, maybe I'd take you guys on. But with me, this old, and the market's changing this much, I don't see the point. I'd rather bet on someone I think can win. Let's get to it. Where do we start? The Vagrants down the marketplace might be fine with your Reggie, but the Jacks are more picky. You got to give them some choice. Demographics and market demands, that I understand. Unfortunately, all I can grow is Reggie right now. Man, you guys are amateurs. Listen, here's some Super Lemon Haze seeds. Don't say I never gave you nothing. Now let's get to it. There's a beach chair in the Caribbean with my name on it. Alright, so now we'll come in here into the grow room. You can just easily double click and we'll expand for 2,000. And there we go. Harvest 50 grams of Super Lemon Haze. So we'll get to that in a second. Let me trim. There we go. Here we go. We'll need a new light. Start growing, save setup. There we go. Now, because we got no product out there, we'll just speed up time because I don't have to go back and forth between growing and making sales. So now all we do is we sit here and early on in the game, there is a lot of this. There's a lot of kind of micromanaging and whatnot. Personally, I enjoy that stuff, so I'm actually all for it. I really dig it. So I'd say this game is kind of you get what you put into it. Is kind of how I'd explain it. Yes, I know that that usually once you trim, it accelerates when you can water. So sometimes I always try and water before I trim. That's just. But sometimes if the trim, like here, I almost pressed trim even though it was almost time to water. But either way, they all got watered the most we could. They'll be just kind of common plants, but you do what you can. Slow things down. Grab the Reggie. Replant. And now keep an eye on that because we can go make sales. Yes, game. I know. So, vagrants. Here we go. You know, from what I can tell, because there's two groups of vagrants in this place, selling to them is, you know, you can make a lot of money selling to them in that location. Again, it's just little things like that to keep track of. I have another 6 grams to sell there. Actually, it looks like I now have no grams. There's that. So come back in here. Super Lemon Haze will be done soon. There we go. We'll drop new plants. See, now we have kind of two options here. We can either stop selling the Reggie and now just sell Super Lemon Haze. But personally, I thought by now it would actually want us to expand activity, but let's expand our dealer corner or make another dealer corner so now we can sell 2 strains at the same location. So basically we can sell to all. The goal is to try and balance how much you're selling to each group. I mean, if you can find one strain that each member of each social group that's there likes, at least that's what I found, and then you can basically specialize a growing spot to just one product and just grow a whole hell of a lot of it. You can sell a lot to one site with just one group of people, but again, there's different ways you can do it. That's not what I wanted to click on. There we go. So here now we can sell it up to their threshold because this is more a product set to them than everyone else. See, because they're going to ignore it now because it's so low. You know, it's one of those that they rate the batch so low because it's way too expensive for them. Oh, wait. No, they won't buy it at 19. Well, they might if we make the quality higher. So that's kind of how this works, is maybe the price is way higher for them. But if the quality was better, they'd buy it. It's that sort of thing. So now we wait for that to sell, and while that's going on, we'll hang out here and work our plants. Well, actually, it looks like we already have a sale. $600 there. And as you can see, now that we have 2 dealer spots, there's only 1 more spot left in the area. So again, it's maximizing profits, how much grow you're going to have in different places, you know, like what you necessarily, or how you want to set up each individual location. Then there's also rent that you have to pay. You can look at your expenses, income, cash, local finances. You can take loans out at the bank. Yeah, it gets, like I was saying, I mean, it can get kind of deep. Sorry, I forgot to. Yeah, the social groups library, blah blah blah. Get that done. Head back out and sell more product. Now it's just gathering that. I think it's what they want, 7,500. Or the game yells at me. Nope, it started to yell at me. See, one of the things I like the most is getting an employee who will run the sales for you. So, you know, if you're working on strains, like, you know, because I like to actually sit with my plants and watch them grow, you know, like children. You know, so I don't have to worry about clicking out and going to make the sales and everything. I can just sit here and click on the plants. All right. There we go. Harvest that. Set the new ones to grow. Sell that 684 to them. 50 grams to them. Do. One, two, three, four. Yes, you can mess up the trim. You actually have to let go of it at the right spot, or else you'll hold too long, and it'll I think it hinders the plant's growth actually. So you have to be a little careful. Should have watered first. Well, actually, that was the last water, so I guess it doesn't matter. See, because I let go a little too early. And those will finish up soon. Set the new to grow. Far away are we? We're okay. So pretty much 1 or 2 more sales, and we should complete the objective. See, that's something that I've heard people talk about with this game, is that they like the fact that it's not just sit and run the business. Well, I mean, I find that really interesting. I find that really fun. I mean, hell, I'll sometimes ignore the objective for hours on end. But I know some people kind of like the fact that, look, the game's always kind of keeping something in front of you. It keeps a goal in front of you, something to look at to completing. And I gotta agree with that. I mean, that is a really nice thing about this game. that it isn't just, hey, we're going to give you a very loose framework. There is kind of a story to be had here. There is kind of a this, that, the other thing. You know, there's reasoning behind everything you're doing. Now, if anyone's going to say, AJ, I thought you were a big story guy, why is it that the fact that there's really not a, you know, like some big narrative in this game, why is it that it doesn't bother you? And I'm like, while I do like it, this is one of those games that I never thought was about the narrative. The narrative is there kind of just to draw. I don't know. I know it's kind of a double standard, because I say the same thing about The Division. Because, you know, I say The Division is... But even then, I think The Division tries to be big and cinematic, while this game is just kind of like, hey, here's little... We're going to give you little caricatures, drawings of people, and they're going to talk to each other, and it's really just to facilitate gameplay. I think that's that's the difference. I think that's the difference here. It's between you're, on one hand, doing all this really cool big AAA stuff, but I think if you're going to go that extra mile to try and throw in a big cohesive narrative, great. Do that. The problem is, I'm not making any sense. I'm going to try this sentence one more time. Something like The Division. This is a big AAA kind of project from a big AAA studio. They're putting in all these big cinematics and this in all these characters, but they don't utilize them to the best of its ability. This game is much simpler than that. It's more about the gameplay than it is about anything else. So that's frankly why, and even then, I think there's enough story to drag you along. It's one of those that it doesn't try to be more than it is, and I like that. That's what I'm getting at. It's not trying to show, oh, we had so much potential. It's like, no, we are what we are. I like that. I respect it. Sorry, I got into a tangent there. You thought business was all about managing the work of others, not sweating your own personal ass off. My, how the tables do turn. Still, it feels good to see the fruits of your own honest labor, even if it's illegal. Yeah, so we got $250 for that. A new strain, so we have Northern Lights and Indica, so it's got earthy, spacing out, and pain relief. This is really good for the vagrants. They really like a cheap Northern Lights strain. And Granddaddy Purple, also, they don't mind it, but because it's sweet and not earthy. So it's sweet, spacing out, painkiller, and relaxed body. So for those strains, those strains don't just unlock for us. We have to actually buy them. So again, this game's about making money, paying your debts, you know, because every month you have to pay rent and other things like that. You have to pay your employees. Again, it's very much managing your business. It's pretty cool. I hate to tell you this, babies, but you got God damn it, hate to tell you this, babies, but you got worry. Word on the street is that Sean's bunch is slowly lurking in and around the city. They might soon decide to start selling on your backyard, and they're sure to blow you away on quality. Can we dispose of them? What are we going to need, some muscle? Easy there, Scarface. Scratch the invisible hand, and it just might slice you up. Why make angry enemies if you can have demoralized losers? So what do? You'll never move any flour if those guys will be selling better stuff right next to you. You got to get your stash up to uncommon quality at least. That should do the trick. Increase quality, how? You got to get your NPK on. Quality is all about soil nutrition, balancing your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium levels. I remember that for Super Lemon Haze, I was using a 7 nitrogen and 1 phosphorus, but I could never get the potassium dialed in. Play around with it and you'll find out how it works. Alright, I know this video is kind of on the short side from how a lot of the later videos are, but I feel like I've given you guys a taste of how this game is, and kind of based on the responses, how I'll generalize how, not necessarily how often I'll upload, but how long I'm going to make the videos, you know, like, do you guys kind of like this smaller bite-sized, or would you like me to do more kind of like longer, just sit and riff while I just kind of play the game sort of videos? I haven't fully decided, so tell me what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll kind of be testing it out from here. But yeah, that's kind of our first little look at Weedcraft Inc. Like I said, there's a lot of complexity hidden amongst, or hidden below, a very simple kind of premise. There's, like I said, there's tons more to this game. I mean, just wait till we start getting into other cities. That then then we have to deal with like smuggling and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff to do with this game, and like I said, we've just scratched the surface. So I feel like there was another comment or statement I had. Oh right, it was when he was saying, what, do we need muscle or something to fight the competition? I was thinking, how funny would it be if they put like an XCOM style kind of like gang combat, like where we have to fight other dealers. I would really love that. I think that would be a lot of fun, but that's just me. Either way, guys, that's been our first little look at Weedcraft Inc. I promise I'll close out. Thanks for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, Minds.com. Links and stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment if you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more next time. But until then, my name's AJ Gels. This is the Gaming Channel. I'm out.